I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's do it to it, right?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Queens ain't just buzzing, boys. It's believing. You gotta believe. Mets sweep the homestand against the Phillies and the Cards. Got the best record in baseball. Crowd's got that October energy in April. The Knicks, they walked into Detroit's house, took every punch, and still walked out with the series lead. Brunson's clutch, OG cold-blooded, chaos broke out late. The Garden Boys don't blink. Oh, and the draft? You mean the annual tradition where teams pretend to be confused so they can do exactly what they planned all along anyway? Yeah, that happened. This is Rice on the mics. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get after it.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Well, all right. Let's talk Knicks. And let's be real. This series has been a roller coaster of emotions. Game 2 at the Garden. Shit. Wasn't that a gut punch, huh? Pistons snapped their 15-game playoff losing streak. I mean, I guess streaks are meant to be broken, right? But the worst part is they didn't beat the Knicks. They out-toughed them, which that's been the narrative all year. Cunningham, like I called, had his MSG moment. Went for 32-12. And of course, Dennis Schroeder, Nets legend, by the way, hit the dagger 3 with under a minute left. And the Knicks, for all that momentum they had in Game 1, that big comeback, they flatlined late. But, I mean, Brunson put up 37, but Towns and OG, they vanished. Maybe a little hero ball, I don't know. But 10 points each, that shit ain't going to cut it in April, man. And then there's Bridges himself. Supposed to be the big X factor. The lethal assassin from the mid-range. He's been MIA, man. His cold shooting is starting to look a little less like a trend. More like kind of the standard. It's not great. Detroit controlled that one, man. From the paint to the pace, they dictated everything. The Knicks did tie it late. Josh Hart had a late dunk, which you thought would get the crowd back into it and go crazy. But Detroit, they didn't flinch. Schroeder splashed at 3, and then the Knicks just didn't have an answer. Game tied, series tied, and Detroit went flying back home with some belief. So, on to Game 3 in Detroit. How do the Knicks respond? Well, I'll tell you what. They walked in, got physical, and took the crowd out early. And they held on late. Final score, 118-116. But the Knicks take the series lead 2-1. Okay? Brunson dropped 30. OG came alive again with 22. Towns kept cooking. Ooh! 31 points, 4 threes. That's the Towns I'm looking for. Detroit pulled ahead for a little bit, a little chaos early. Brunson had a flagrant 1. Big Cat got a tech. That's what we've been looking for, though. Some bodies bumping, elbows flying. Knicks didn't blink. Brunson, our captain, that we've been waiting and missing since Ewing himself, and by the way, your clutch player of the year, he showed you exactly why. 2 huge layups late. Free throws to ice it, too, including one that he maybe kind of missed just to milk the clock a little bit. Absolute command of the arena. When things get loud, that's what you look for in a leader. Noise is super loud. Heart rate slows down. Detroit did make it messy. They made it physical. But in the moments that mattered, they threw it away. Literally, actually. Durant's full court pass went straight out of bounds. Game over. You love to see it. Knicks blew it open late, 21-3 run, middle of the second, late in the second. They survived 2 1-point scares in the third. Detroit pushed back, and then they had like a 10-point run, but they took care of business, man. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Win's a win, right? Knicks are up 2-1 in the series. The Garden travels. And this Knicks team, they're learning how to win ugly and win late, which is what matters. That's how you close things out. Knicks stay poised and Bridges finally decides to show up. This could be wrapped up in 5 just like I called it. But shit, if Cade gets hot again and at home, we're definitely headed back to MSG regardless. It's just if it's in 5 or in 6. But I got faith. Knicks in 5 still, baby. Let's go. All right. So let's set the scene. The 2025 NFL Draft wasn't just chaos. I think it was calculated chaos. And if you've been rocking with Rice on the mics, you know we're a little bit ahead of it. So let's read these receipts, huh? Where Rice was right. I mean, not a hard pick. Cam Ward, number 1. Locked it in. I mean, easy money, but, you know, everybody and their mother saw that coming. Raiders took Ashton Jeanty. I told you. Headline grabber, scheme fit. Pete Carroll, big Marshawn Lynch guy. I knew he wasn't going to just let him pass, okay? He had a great moment, too, Jeanty did, to quote Marshawn Lynch, the reporter, after when he got drafted, knowing that he looked up to him and, you know, knowing the connections. Said, you know, Pete Carroll sure knows how to use running backs. Look at Marshawn Lynch. He had a great opportunity to quote one of the all-time quotes from Marshawn Lynch, which is, listen, I'm a get got. But I'm going to get mines more than I get got. God, it would have been so sick if he fucking laid that out. That would have been so funny. But, you know, that's a guy that just feels like Vegas. That's great. I'm happy for him. Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3. Yeah, kind of a no-brainer. I mean, Hunter went before. I wanted the Giants to take Hunter. I'm not even a Giants fan, but I thought it would have been a better fit. But that defense is going to be pretty dirty now. So, you know, you don't pass on a game wrecker. If you're not going to pay a quarterback, you go get a guy to go kill the quarterback, right? And the Jets went trench over flash, just like I said, just like I wanted. Armand Membu, no sexy tight end. He did end up going to the Colts like 7 picks later, 14, which I thought he fell a little bit, but no sexy tight end, no sexy splashy receiver, just grit. And a clear identity shift. Okay? More on that in a little bit. Now, got to stay honest here. Where Rice was wrong. But not out of bounds, though. Just a little wrong. Okay. Thought Carter might end up with the Browns at 2. Well, instead, right away, they caused chaos. They traded down with Jacksonville. And, God, they got a fucking haul from Jacksonville. And then at 5, they grabbed Mason Graham, which, not a reach at all. Kid is going to be an ultimate run stopper. So now him and Myles Garrett. So now you don't have to worry about the run up the middle, and you got Myles Garrett off the edge. Whew. I did think that Jackson Dart wouldn't make it past the Steelers, and technically he didn't. But he did. Because they passed on him and they passed on Sanders. And then the Giants moved back in with Houston to go get him. They also kind of gave up a bit of a haul. Give up the 2nd and the 3rd, which is like 33 and 99. And then they gave up a 3rd next year. Oof. But, again, more on that later. Also, I had his phonetic spelling of his name here, and I can't find it. Tetratoa McMillan. Carolina not trading out, going after the receiver to help Bryce Young, I guess. In my notes in a previous pod, I had written that he loves volleyball and he's a ball hawk contender. I think Mike Williams. I think that could be a great thing for the young Bryce Young. No pun intended. So let's dive right into the Giants. They had the bigger draft than the Jets. We'll get to the Jets, but let's dive right into the Giants here. Daniel Jones, he gone mid-season last year. So the new QB room offseason, Jameis Winston, the wild card, gunslinger, will throw a touchdown pass just as quick as a pick six. Or Russell Wilson, technician, little chip on his shoulder, but also has 1 foot in the retirement home. So what do? They do the smart move. They take the best player available in Abdul Carter to mix with Brian Burns and Thibodeau and beef the shit out of that defense. Then trade back in and grab Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders, by the way, which, good call. So now, let's ask the real question here, though. Okay. Are these the two guys that you want the rookie to learn from? Maybe. Maybe not. But I will say it's kind of fascinating. Jameis, on one hand, might teach him some confidence, sometimes maybe to a fault. And Russ might teach him the discipline that he needs. Unless he takes offense to the kid breathing down his neck a little bit. But either way, Dart kind of just landed in the most combustible, good and bad QB room. And then Brian Daboll is supposed to be Mr. Quarterback Whisperer, so here's your chance to mold the clay. This is going to be a great story to watch. This is going to be good entertainment regardless of what you think the Giants should do or if they had a good idea or good draft or not. This going forward is going to be so cool to watch. Giant fans, take a breath, okay? You got your linebacker, and you might have got your quarterback in the same round. And you didn't have to rob a booster to do it either. You ended up having it work out. And as for the Jets, well, we already know they cleaned house. Saleh, he gone. Douglas, he gone. Enter Aaron Glenn and Darren Moogie. Glenn's already changing the tone, and I love it. He's a Parcells disciple when he played underneath him, and really think he brought so much of that into his coaching. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There is hope for the Jets, surprisingly. I mean, the Jets are always filled with falseless hope, but I really think we might be on the right path, okay? No nonsense, no sideline drama, no Rodgers mysteries. You feel it, man. A little some structure. And Moogie's in sync, which is great. Jets forever had one GM that was a cap guy and one that was a runner, or one that was this and one was that. So they didn't chase the highlight pick. They built a nice foundation. Okay, they got 3 top-tier running backs. They got a mobile quarterback in Justin Fields. And now they got a nasty right tackle in Membu to pair with the left tackle Fashiono from last year. And Simpson and AVT. Okay, that's their identity. That's their purpose. That's a team that's trying to win the line, not the press conference. And, God, that's so refreshing. If you're a Jets fan, you finally, for once, saw a draft that didn't feel like a panic text at 1 a.m. This one felt like grown men making decisions. And it's so great to finally have that. At least I think so. So, overall, some winners and losers of the draft. Winners, Giants. Yeah, they had a good day one. And that's kind of all they're going to have because they don't have a second or a third. So, at least they got their guy, or at least they think their guy. And they got the guy on defense. And now they get to sit back and, I don't know, not watch the draft if they don't want to. Maybe tune in for some of the chaos. And also pretend they didn't just mortgage their future. Because let's be honest, front office knows that the clock's ticking. And if they have another terrible year after all this, John Mara might say, everybody get out. So did you think that they were going to trade out and get picks for the next regime next year? No. They're going to sell everything they can to go get that what they want now. So they might not be here next year, but they didn't hedge their bet. They burned the boats and went all in. Jetsies, I think the Jets won, man. I think the Jets, or at least smartly, not sexy, won. Okay? New regime, new mindset. Glenn and Muji didn't flinch. They passed on the flash, picked the foundation. I'm looking for DeBrickashaw Ferguson and Nick Mangold. That's what I'm looking for, okay? That's when they were successful. So I think they finally got a little direction. I think the Jets won. But the Browns are the winner chicken dinner, okay? They played their hand perfect. Immediately trade out of 2 to a Jacksonville team that young GM wants to make a splash. They get a haul and a half back. Have their second round pick, which is 34, and Jacksonville's second round pick right on top of it. So Sanders is still there. If they want him, they can take him. So they crushed it. They're in a perfect position to grab a falling star, which brings me to the losers. Shador. Still on the board, still waiting. This is feeling real 2013 Geno Smith. He'll go early day 2, but you know what? He must have got word that he wasn't going round 1 because he didn't show up to the draft. That green room would have been looking real quiet, and that noise would have been real loud. They would have cut to him every second like Aaron Rodgers, especially being Deion's kid. The Steelers, I think they lost big time. They had a shot at Dart. They had a shot at Sanders. And they passed on both. And now they got to roll with Kenny Pickett or whoever. And they got to hope that Rodgers comes out of the darkness retreat and signs with them. I mean, you took Derek Harmon instead. Okay, could it work? Okay, sure. But you know, the fans aren't buying sure right now. All Steeler fans do is want Tomlin fired and complain that they're just good enough to make the playoffs and go over 500, but never bad enough that they can pick high enough in the draft to get a QB. Well, you had your chance. You had 2 chances, really. You had your choice of the litter, and you still fucking went defense. What are we talking about here, boys? Hey, and last that loses any fans hoping for some fireworks on Friday or Saturday. Giants already blew their entire stash. So if you're a New York fan watching the rest of the draft out of boredom, just flip over to the Mets highlights. You'll be much more happy. That's the league right now, man. Some teams are building. Some are bluffing. And the Giants, well, shit, they might be doing both. Meet the Mets, greet the Mets, step right up and meet the Mets. 7 straight, boys. Citi Field is rocking. Best ERA in the league. And for the first time in a long time, the New York Mets look like a team that doesn't just win, they wear it. Swept the Cards. Swept the Phils. God, did their broadcast team have a meltdown, too. Said, and I quote, "We aren't the bullies anymore. They are." They've lost 7 of the last 8 at Citi Field, including playoffs. Oh, by the way, and don't look now, best record in baseball and best ERA in baseball. Oh, the pitching woes. Oh, Manaya's out. What is Sanga? Who is Griffin Canning? Shut it. I don't want to hear it. The Mets get it done. The pitching lab is monstrous. Stearns, we trust. In Stearns, we trust. It's not just buzz anymore. It's belief. And if you think it's just April streak, which, listen, we know the Mets are good for that. They do that all the time. They get you right to the edge and, check the history. The last couple times the Mets started this hot, they were popping champagne. They had a parade down the Canyon of Heroes. They won the World Series. Oh, God, I can't wait. I love this team. There's so much grit. And just they're having such a good time. Lindor is like the David Wright of old. Pete is slugging the ball. Soto is a menace in the wings waiting to explode. Oh, man, it's so... I'm gonna have to get my Mets World Series tattoo. I know it. I just feel it. God, I can't wait. Meanwhile, while Queens is cooking across the bridge, the Bronx battling a tough series with the Indians this week. Game 1, Schmidt got shelled. Bullpen was flat. Bats didn't really even wake up. I mean, they won. The Guardians won 6-4. It was really 6-0 the whole game. So, too little, too late. Game 2, just a mess of a 6th inning, man. Bad luck, sloppy execution, but another L on the books. And then here comes Game 3. Sweep looming. Can the Yankees figure it out? Rodon on the hill. He's always a question mark. He's always under a microscope. Nope, stepped up. 7 strong innings, 4 hits, 0 drama. It's exactly what Yankee fans need to see from him after a rocky start to the year. Oh, and by the way, Aaron Judge, 4 for 4 in Game 2, even with the loss. And then an RBI triple and a run in Game 3. Leads MLB in batting average, hits, and on-base percentage. And has now reached base safely in 21 straight games. Jesus Christ. I mean, right now Judge isn't playing like an MVP. He's playing like fucking Bonds. He is no doubt the best hitter in baseball. Not Soto, not Ohtani, not even Pete. Anybody you want to, it's Judge. Judge is the hitter. The premier hitter in baseball right now. If Rodon and Fried can, keep stringing some starts together like this, man, the Yankees will start being the Yankees, which I know that's what they're dying for. Yankee fans are begging to go on that 15-game win streak or just dominate anybody in front of them. They got a tough series with Boston coming up, so that's an early gauge. I picked Boston to win the division. Yankees are playing really good, and Boston's playing good enough, but, that's an age-old rivalry. It's a good measuring stick early April. See where you're at. They go out and dominate them. Yankee fans got a lot to smile about for the next week or so. And on that note, still a little league vibe check. Soto starting to heat up little by little. He still has had some ugly at-bats, and plenty of times I've groaned and shouted, "What the fuck, man?" So not exactly putting up his regular numbers, but the Mets are winning games. And he's always on base. And Pete is raking because of him. God forbid, if and when he clicks, this 1, 2, 3 of Lindor, Soto, and Pete is going to thrive. And Beatty and Sanger, the backup catcher, got optioned to AAA. So that means that Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez are on the way up. Add both of them to this lineup, you're going to have to start going to your local sports book and taking the over on the Mets because they're going to rake. Yankees' biggest Achilles heel, Rodon. I always forget which way it goes. 13 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, last 2 starts. That's the kind of trend you want to see. Now, Devin Williams, that is a potential issue. Actually, a potential big issue. But the pitching is starting to get better. That's been the Achilles heel. Stroman can maybe figure it out. But as long as they keep mashing, if Judge and Rice and Belly's going to wake up eventually, Goldie's been great. God, Jazz, I mean, he's a ground-out machine. But at least he's fast, I guess. Yankees are sitting good. They're trending in the right direction, I should say. I also, if I'm using my antennas, my little Doc Brown Back to the Future glasses, I got a feeling that instead of the Mets and Yankees competing against each other in the offseason for a player, it's going to come a lot sooner. I think at the trade deadline, they're both going to try and challenge a team for a finishing bullpen piece and who wants to lay it on the table more. As far as out west, the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Padres have been beating each other up. They're looking like how the NL East was supposed to be this year. They were the first division with 3 10-win teams, and it was like 2 weeks into the season. So, you know, there are other good teams besides the Mets and the Yankees, but baseball in New York is king. Oh, also, the Dodgers had to stop Snell's rehab. He got hurt while he was throwing, so let me just shed some crocodile tears for them with all their pitching woes that they have. So just a little perspective to just close it all out. It's still April. Nobody wins the pennant in April. But you know what you can win? Respect, rhythm, and some belief. And right now, the Mets got all of it. And the Yankees are working through it, man. Better believe the rest of the league is watching. I would even go so far as to say, hold on, hot take here, hot take. Mets and the Yankees, oh, they're on a crash course for a Subway Series World Series. Man, it'd be crazy over here if that happens. Thanks for kicking it with me this long. The long and the short is the Mets are rolling, Yankees are slugging, and somewhere Shedeur Sanders is still refreshing his phone, waiting for that call. Baseball is back, baby, and so is New York. Let's enjoy the ride, boys. And that's going to do it. Episode 9 of Rice on the Mics. We hit the Garden, the draft board, both boroughs of baseball, and somehow still didn't run out of takes. If you're still tuned in, you are the real MVP. Follow the show. Hit me up at Rice on the Radio. RiceonTheRadio. That's on Instagram and Twitter. Call in if you're feeling so brave. 732-588-6869. Send your takes. I'll get you on the next one. Or even just text the number and we'll bullshit back and forth. Trust me, I'll respond. I ain't got shit going on over here. Just me, my laptop, the microphone, and you guys listening. As always, tell someone you love them. Spread some good energy in this world, boys and girls, because giving positive energy gets you positive energy. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys on the next one.